It is quite expensive. A lot of this are quite expensive, but they do exist and they do make the learning process a lot easier for your students. And they feel like they can be involved in the learning process and show you their learning a lot easier. So do some research. Some of it is available to schools in different ways. Sometimes you work at schools where parents need advice on the assistive technologies that they can purchase for their children. So it's good for you to have an understanding of what is available. And if you're part of management teams, if you're part of planning teams, and you don't have ramps or grab bars or whatever the case is at your school, it will be a good suggestion and a good focus and cognizance for you to have. It will really impact positively on the lives of children if they are accommodated according to their needs. So I want to end of this video just on making a couple of points about educating children. A lot of you know this, a lot of you do this already, but I'm going to talk through it again. It's important for you as a teacher to be present and authentic. So we all know what is expected of us. We all know how we expect it to be as a teacher, professional conduct, and that is very important. Professional conduct is of paramount importance. But you also need to know that sometimes children can't or don't want to be taught that day. Sometimes kids just need a timeout. Sometimes they just need to breathe. We all have those days. And children who have been affected by a lot of outside influences. So if they come from a home where there's violence and there's violence in the community and they being abused, for example, there's no way they're going to sit down in that class on that day to complete that test. So for you as a teacher, as a human being, you feel that pull towards, you know what, I need to finish this work. It needs to be done. I have to hand in my marks. But as a human being, you feel like, you know what, this child is not able to. They are in a very different state, they're traumatized, whatever the case is. Be present, be authentic enough to say, you know what, I think this child needs a timeout. And don't make them feel bad about it. Just make them understand if they lash out in anger. It's very difficult. I'm not going to lie. It's very difficult if a child lashes out in anger at you. But try to understand how overwhelming for a child emotions can be. As adults, we've learned coping mechanisms and how to adapt to our environment and challenges in our environment. But children are still in that process. So it can be very overwhelming for them. So oftentimes when they come into school and they have to listen to an adult who is, or again, telling them what to do, whatever the case is, it might be very difficult for them to trust. So be understanding is my next point. Be understanding that their situations may be so difficult and challenging that they compound everything else and everything else that's happening in their life. They may be bullied, they don't have friends, because everything has a knock-on effect. If you come from a violent household in a violent community, you usually, I should not say usually, you possibly could act violently with your peers who then decide they don't want to play with you, so you don't have friends. No one in the class wants to be in your group, so you don't do the work in the same way as other kids. And so all of these come together to affect you as a child. And then this teacher doesn't understand and they kind of jump on your head. So try to be understanding, be caring, ask kids what's happening. If you see them not looking good today, try and catch a moment. Even if you just give them a smile, even if you just say, you know what, can you help me today? Can you open the window, or can you put this book down for me? Be empathetic. Try to put especially if you know their story. If you know their story, try to be understanding and accommodating, not to the point where you debilitate them and where they are not expected to do what they're supposed to do, but be empathetic in the way that helps you to really put into perspective what they may be going through. See your learners for who they are. Look into their eyes. Understand them as human beings. They're all special. They're funny. They're interesting. They have quirks, they have differences, they like things and don't like things. They're interesting little beings. And it's important for us to really see our learners for who they are. Try new things with your learners. Let them introduce you to something new. Have them encourage you to try something new. Children love teaching an adult something. So try new things, and also try new things with assessments and the way you engage your learners and the way you do activities with your learners. I saw something interesting the other day. We at a school with younger kids, they did the bottle of Coke with Mentos and it kind of exploded. That's something new and children will be interested. Now they want to know why does that happen. So try and do new things. Educate yourself on assessment differences, on differentiation. Educate yourself on how to connect with learners. Educate yourself on social emotion of learning, on pastoral care, on supporting learners, on basic counseling soft skills such as attentive listening, being empathetic, being congruent, which means being authentic and being present and being yourself. Lead with your heart, because 10 to 1, you're not in this profession to make money. You're in this profession to work with children and help them on the empowerment, on their journey of empowerment. So lead with your heart. Remember, and this says lead with your heat, but lead with your heart. Remember why you became a teacher. Remember why you want to do what you are doing. So lead with your heart. And if that leads to amazing things, and that's us reaching the goal at the end of the day. Remember, the process is important. Don't only focus on the outcome. And this is important for us to keep in mind, especially with assessments looming and marks being asked for. But the process of learning is important, not just the product or the outcome. So if a child's goal is to learn from A to Z, but today at least you learn from A to F, that is the process. The process is important. And through that process, you got to know the child. They really got to understand the work that they're doing. Congratulate the child. Congratulate yourself, because your process was very important. And through that process, the child could see how supportive and understanding you are as a teacher. And therefore, they feel included. It all comes back to inclusion, connecting with humanity. It's about inclusion as well, including everybody, making everybody feel as if they're part of something, making everybody feel as if what they feel and think and know is important, and that they can make a real contribution towards society and towards the lives of others. And if we live with that, and if we enter the classroom with that, understanding that learners need us to be human beings with them, then we're going to find that we have a lot easier time in the classroom space. Your learners will build relationships with you, and they'll be wanting to be involved. And 10 to 1, that child that's having a bad day might eventually just come to you and say, you know what, miss, I'm having a bad day, I need a moment. Or they'll enter the classroom and you can immediately see, okay, this is not a good day, perhaps I need to be a little bit more gentle. So we don't stay so caught up in what we have to do, but we see the people around us. So that's the end of this video. I know it was very long and there's many parts to this video, but there's a lot of content to cover within this area, and it's helpful for someone to talk you through it. So take that as as advice. Watch videos, look at what is out there, read interesting articles, read case studies. It makes it more real and gives you a better understanding of what is possible in the classroom space. I look forward to reading your assignments. I look forward to reading your work, and I look forward to reading into the work what your understanding of these topics are. And good luck with everything you're doing.